I
So a
will
sequence, you were asking me, I mean, the difference between sequence and
flowchart.
flowchart.
Hmm.
So basically in a sequence, you have to go in a sequence, just like, I mean, that in an order, I mean, the sequential flow.
Mm-hmm.
In flowchart, I mean that you can go in different directions,
Okay.
like if go, I mean that if else say for, I mean, conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the difference, I think.
Yes, this is
I don't know
correct
anything
only.
more
This
about
is
that.
correct only. So
Okay.
normally sequences we do when we are having only, we don't have a complex scenario. If it is a simple thing like just reading a PDF
Yeah.
file and just extracting the elements from the PDF and storing in an text file. So this is just a
So you can
sequence.
have you can have sequences in the flowchart.
Yes, we can. Why not?
Yeah.
We can have sequences in flowchart. We can have flowchart in sequences. We can have sequences in sequences. We can have flowchart in
Hmm.
sequences. Nothing harm.
Hmm.
These are like containers. We are keeping all the activities inside. Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
state machine, it is like RE framework uses this. And state machine is very
Hmm.
important, Anish. When we start learning, understanding the business logic, we'll start understanding what is a state machine is all about. State machine is comprised of different states. Got my point?
Hmm.
It is comprising of different
Hmm.
states. We are having an initial state, we are having final state, we are having different states linked to each other. So these are like states. Okay, so these states are
Hmm.
linked with each other. So this is called state machine. So we will understand
Hmm.
this when we move ahead with our class. So for now I will just like to add you that RE framework uses this, and it is very easier for
Hmm.
us to go from one transition to another transition. Suppose we want to pick, like 100 of data is present in an Excel sheet, we want to pick one by
Hmm.
one, correct? We use
Hmm.
state
Okay.
machine. Just like for this state machine, if we are using it as initializing, that means suppose I am just telling that, hey Excel, you take all those elements, means I just want to read all the data from an Excel sheet. Okay, I don't want to
Hmm.
do
Hmm.
anything. So you can ask this state
Hmm.
machine to do all this thing. Now you want to
Hmm.
read one by one data from that Excel. Okay, and move and process it. Suppose you want to pick one data from the Excel sheet and you want to go another web page, and you want to put those data in the web page. Okay, so you
Hmm.
can just do one thing. You can ask this state machine to pick all those data one by one. Okay, so this can be a transitional state. So what this transitional state will do is like, it inside this whatever is there, it is not our concern now. We'll understand this in
Hmm.
later state. What it will do is it will go to this state again. Okay, it will pick
Hmm.
pick the data one by one and go to this web browser. Okay,
Hmm.
and just store there and process them, and again it will go to this
Hmm.
initialization state. It will again read with the
Hmm.
second data. It will again go to that
Hmm.
web browser. It will put that data in the web browser and extract some other data and process it. It will keep on going. So each transition, each state will do that thing for you. So in the RE framework, when we start learning, we'll understand these states, how these transitions are happening, what is the importance of each state machine. Okay, so now we
Hmm.
just on a
Okay.
high level, I just want to explain you. It is very important for us to understand what state machine is, and it is like transition of one state to another state. Okay, we need to
Hmm.
suppose it is having some exception, so we can have another exception block for your state, for the state machine. So even if it can suppose transitional state is having one exception, and you just want to say, hey, whenever I get any system exception, any selector issues has come up, that is a system exception. Suppose any business exception has occurred, so whatever exceptions that you have already facing with this transition, you just don't want to get into the success state, you want to get into a failure state. So we can make this state as an exception block. So whenever any exception will arise, so this transitional state will also face to this exception state. You got my point? So every,
Yeah, I got it, but I think probably once when we'll start doing it,
yes,
I'll grasp it completely.
yes, correct. Correct, not an issue. So, means just on high level, I just wanted to say it is just like a transition or of different states. Second is whenever you are going into a failure state, it can go to exception. If it is a success state, it can go to the next
Okay.
step. So
Okay.
it's like it is very easy for us to understand state machines. So before
Okay.
that, let us start learning what a sequence is and what is variable and all this thing. So I don't want to waste my time here because you know all this thing. So for a higher level understanding, I just want to create one variable for you. So let us create one variable as int var. So int var, why I have given is an int. The best practice is to, whenever a variable type
Integer.
is of integer, just create is like whatever variable
Yeah.
suitable to you.
So
Just
convention, naming convention, I mean,
naming
that you are
convention
using
is
to
has to
just.
be done in the same way. Suppose I am creating a variable as int var 8. I want to initialize it two ways. One is assign activity, another is going to this variable pen, correct? So two ways you can assign it. This is the first way. Another way how can you assign is you can just go to this
By
variable
default.
pen and keep the default value as 8.
Yeah.
Why do we require a default value? Why do we require a user defined? Means two things. The variable can be taken from the user, or the variable can be default we can set. So if we want to take it from user, there is another activity. You must have used this, I perhaps, input dialog box.
Yeah.
Okay, so input dialog box will ask you to take a value from the user. So if it is an integer value, it will take an integer always. If it is a string value, it will take a string value for you. Okay, so okay, every variable is having a property pin. I think you are aware of this, Anish. I don't want to waste my time here. So here in the input value, we are having all these properties. If you can see here, options, option string, title. So if you want, okay, if you want your user to ask you, choose a choice, A, B, C, D, you can give here in this property of this option string. Okay, we'll learn that in the later class because it is not that important for now to understand in introduction class. But sometimes you want the user to give a choice, means if it is 1 or if it is 2 or if it is 3 or if it is 4. If it is 1, do this following thing. If it is 2, like an ATM machine, you go there, right? You the ATM machine
I mean,
asks
just
you.
like we do in do case.
Yes,
Issue.
yes,
Case A,
correct.
case B, case C,
Correct,
case D.
correct, correct.
Okay.
Yes. So, but in UiPath, how can you give those options? We have switch cases. We can do that. But if you want the user to make a choice, so you can use this option string option, okay, from the properties pane. We will learn that. But for now, we'll just understand the basic first. So this is the user input that I am going to take. Okay, so I have taken a variable as user input. It is a string type. So we can make it as an integer type if you want, if you can make it as a string type. So what this is going to do, it will take from the user, right? So this is a what kind of activity is? This is an input activity. What are input, what are output, and what are processing? So in every program, there is an input, there is an output, there is a processing part, correct? CPU and all these are processing. You input taking from user, output giving to user, correct? So you are taking something from the user and you want to display somewhere. So display, there are many options in UiPath. Most of the time we use write line activity of displaying. So write line is a basically it's a output part. Okay, they have changed it. So if you go to activities, Anish, you are having different options here. So classic. So if you are using different version, less than
Yeah, I
20.
got puzzled. I mean, then beginning was I was not getting all the options. Then I just Googled it, and then I came to know that I have to check the box
Yes,
of show
yes,
classes
yes, yes. You
and
have to
find
check
that.
all these boxes. So
Yeah, but it,
classic.
it took a lot of time for me. I mean, that to find the solution.
Yeah, it's fine, Anish. Sometimes it happens, but
Hmm.
why do I need the classic option? Is sometimes what happens is UiPath is having this upgraded versions. So if you are
Yeah.
familiar with other versions, so sometimes it's better to use classic.
Hmm. Right.
Okay. So I have created a small automation for you. Just a minute. This is string type. Let us comment out this. So shortcut for commenting out is Control D.
Hmm.
Okay. So I am
So
giving
it's
a breakpoint.
converting into a string.
Yes. When you are taking an integer type, if you want to convert
Hmm.
it into a string type, okay.
Hmm.
So basically, uh, if you want to, you cannot print the integer as it is in these activities,
Hmm.
because how these activities are programmed is always, if you see these properties of write line or any of the
Hmm.
activities that you see in the activities in the properties pane, they will always ask you to give a string variable. Never they will ask you to
Hmm.
give a integer variable. So in that case, what you
Hmm.
need to do is you have to convert those integer into string type. So for that, what you
Hmm.
need to do is the variable dot to string.
Dot. Okay.
So let's debug this small part. Let's see what is the output is
Hmm.
coming.
Hmm.
So it is asking me a number to print. So now it is having a breakpoint. So you can see here, I have just given an integer. So this is the output pin. If you can see
Hmm.
it, I am just expanding this. Okay. If you can see this, this is the output pin. Write line, what it does is write something in the output pin. There is another
Hmm.
activity is called as log message activity, which is very, very important for us, because what this log message activity does is sometimes in orchestrator, if you want to see where the bot has ran or where the bot is there, okay, so always it is best practice for a developer to use this activity, log message activity. So what this log message
Hmm.
activity is having different options. If it is an error, if it is an info, if it is an trace, if it is an warning, or if it is an fatal. Wait, I'll show
Hmm.
you. Suppose it is an info. Info means you are just typing the success output. So
Hmm.
we are when we will start using exception handling, these log messages are very useful for us. How I will let you
Hmm.
know, like suppose you want to tell the user that see, listen, this is the exception that has come up and you have to fix
Uh-huh.
this. Instead of info, you can put it as an error or warning, so that any other developer, if it is seeing this, so somebody, if you are using a try catch block, okay, an exception has occurred.
Hmm.
If you want to use a try catch block, you can use a log message in the catch block. Suppose any error, any
Hmm.
exception has occurred, it goes to catch block. You know this, right? Try catch. So while
Hmm.
it goes to catch block, if you have given this error message, then the user could understand, okay, or the other developer can understand, okay, for this is the reason where it went to the exception part and we have to handle
Hmm.
it. So this is the importance of
Hmm.
log messages. Another importance, I would say, that writing logs. How can we
Hmm.
write logs? I will let you know. suppose we are having a text file and I need to write the log messages in that text file. At this time, this tape has ran. Okay. So I can convert this everything to a text file. I will let you know in the latter part. It is very, very important when we're dealing with orchestrator, Anish. Okay.
Okay.
So this is all about sequence. Now let us jump to flowchart for now. Okay. If I want to tell, like, suppose let us take one example, like even and odd. You understand, right? Even number or odd number. Suppose I want to know if the number is even or if it is an odd. How will I know that?
I mean, we have to get the input and then we have to divide it by with 2.
Okay.
Divided
by
the
4.
Answer is if the result divided by 4. Okay. No, I mean that even or odd?
Yes. Oh no, sorry. If it is a leap year, sorry.
You mean
If
that
it
you
is
are
an
talking
even,
about the leap
yes,
year?
anything will fine. If we are talking about even and odd, then it should be divided by
number.
2 and the output should come at a 0. But if we're
Yeah, I
talking
mean,
about
if the remainder is 0, then it is even number. If the remainder is not 0, then it's odd number.
yes.
Right. I think there is some probably, I mean, that function, arithmetic function or modulus, something like
yes,
that.
mod, correct.
Mod.
Yes. So these all things we will learn later. Means our main goal is to understand how.
What I suggest one thing, I mean that if you can just jot down the topics, maybe in detail. I mean that what you are planning in each class.
Yes. I would give
if I
you.
come
I
to
would
know
give
in
you.
advance that
Yes.
it will be easier for me to just go through it.
Yes,
And
for
maybe
sure.
I can get prepared if I can have some time to go through these topics, and I think I will be able to grasp it more quickly if I just know about these topics which I'm going to learn on that day.
Correct. Definitely, I will give you in Saturday.
I understand right now there is an introductory class, so I mean that it's just it's not as per this. You are just giving me the introduction. So later on, if I have the topics, it will be easier for me.
It's fine for me to give you a note of it for now, but it's important for me to understand what your expertise is, what you are expecting from me. These things were important for me so that I will go in that direction. So as you mentioned,
I mean that what we can do, I mean that once you give me, because I can do self-learning myself also, I mean that, but the problem is that, I mean that when I'm trying to do the projects, of course, there are exceptions and there are errors which we need to identify, and it takes a lot more time. So this time I can save it. So if you give me the topics which you are going to teach me on that particular day in advance, what I can do, I just can go through it. And when I don't grasp it for any topic, I mean that it will be easier for me to understand when you explain me.
Okay, no, not an issue. I will do that.
Yeah.
So let us now run for this program. What I did is I just added a if block.
But I'm particularly satisfied. I mean that right now, what the way you are teaching, I mean that
yes, I just want you to get into those scenarios. Means those projects means what I believe is practical aspects are important. I don't believe on this theories attended bot, unattended bot for entire class.
Exactly. I mean the practical part is more important.
Practical part is very, very necessary for when you are working in an organization, because you have to be job ready always. Means this is very important. So today,
that's right.
So my focus is to get into RE framework very quickly and orchestrator. So we will build up, we'll do one dispatcher, we'll create one performer, we will do multiple projects in between. But
so what is the scope of RPA? I mean that what we can do, I mean that anything, but there are some limitations. I mean that, as you told me earlier, that we have to see whether RPA can do it or not.
Yes. If you know data analysis, right? So now Uber, Ola, everything, they're having a humongous amount of data. Or suppose let us consider as a bank. Okay, in any of the bank, if you want to automate, suppose the currently Axis and ICICI Bank, they're automating everything. Suppose you are just telling, hey, I want to open my credit card. Okay, they're not taking
Mm.
that many number of time, like we need to go and stand in a queue and give our Aadhaar card, link our Aadhaar card and do all this, that. So what they're doing is they
Mm.
are just taking your phone number, they're automated everything. They're taking the phone number and they are just taking the request from the customer. So see, this person has to take the credit card has been applied and it has to be done. So what they are doing is they're processing it, and they're checking with all your civil score and everything. The bot is doing it manually. Okay, we are having
Mhm.
API integration. So what it is
Mhm.
doing is it is
Mhm.
going and checking with all those things, and they are trying to just give an update to the bank that this customer has applied for the loan, and we have to take the KYC document or something. So just to span these
Mhm.
days, just to span, it is you are just involved on this matter. You are not going and standing in a queue and giving your Aadhaar card, waiting for 2 days or 3 days to update all the data that is required. It is going to the database, taking all the data from the database itself, and it is giving you the customer support is calling you and asking you for a KYC. So these days the
Mhm.
bot is very important. Like suppose for example, if you are going to Mintra or Flipkart, there is a chatbot is prepared there. It is asking, hey, can I help you with it? Then you are asking that I want an iPhone. So immediately the bot is asking, and which price range you want. You must have seen in Samsung
Mhm.
or in OnePlus or Apple phone. Whenever you go to their website, they're asking how much price range you want it, and you say like some
Mhm.
around 1,20,000, I want this iPhone X or something, and they are giving you those choices. So there is
Mhm.
no human intervention there. So everything has been
Mhm.
automated itself. So in
Mhm.
data analysis part, this is all about like taking the data, preparing the data and cleaning the data. So 2 to 3 steps have
Mhm.
been covered. So if you are good in RPA, I would suggest you to go into data science. If you're good in maths or good in programming, Python developer, most of
Mhm.
the Python developer, they're going to data science these days. And RPA is
Mhm.
something everybody can do. Like you people, you are not from a coding background, but you are trying to
Mhm.
understand like how it is working, correct? How this PDFs
Mhm.
extractions have been done, and how can we
Mhm.
extract all the data from the PDF, right? For example, I'm working
Mhm.
in a healthcare domain, and we are getting day to day basis different kind of PDF. What kind of OCR we are using? Is it a Microsoft OCR? Is it a OmniPage OCR? What kind of document understanding can we use to extract those PDF and give the client according to the requirement, correct? Or go to another
Mhm.
website and fill that CPT ICD code or any phone number, patient ID, patient registration data, and create an output file that it is completed, and send an
Mhm.
email to the customer. So these
Mhm.
all things we
Mhm.
can do in automation. Okay, so
Yeah,
you
I think
don't.
I'll be able to explore it further. I mean that the applications, uh, by the time I mean that I'll be getting more knowledge.
Yes, it can be done. So
So
okay,
what
so
can be applied or not? Okay. Yeah,
okay.
please carry on.
Okay, okay. So this is a small project that I built to tell you how the leap year we can do, but it is better for you to make it beautify. Always when you are programming or when you are coding, you should always
Oh.
ask, you should always give a, means what to say, other developers or other customers or the client to know that this is done in a beautiful way. Okay, so
Mhm.
when you are writing a log messages or something, you should write in a proper elaborative way. How can you do that? By string concatenation. I would say that string concatenation. You already
Mhm.
know that year is what kind of
Mhm.
output element. You just have to go here and check in your output pane. It is year, correct? The output variable that
Mhm.
it takes from the input. So here
Mhm.
year is an integer variable. I just said you how can we convert an integer to string? What we need to do that?
Mhm.
Variable dot
Yeah, dot two string.
dot to string, correct. So here when we come to this if block, we are giving it as an info, and I just want to type it as this year is a leap year. So how can I type that? If we know that plus is the string concatenation, and I want to type this variable in our output pane. Okay, for now it
Probably
is
we
out.
have to put in a bracket. I mean that the complete year plus dotted two string.
No,
Or
not
not
bracket
needed.
is not needed when it is
Mhm.
two variables are
Just two
involved.
string is okay.
Yeah, dot to string is okay.
Just plus, I mean, that's for concatenation.
Yes, it is for concatenation.
And the
And
string is always to be in the quotation mark.
yes, string should always be in quotation mark and space should be there so that it would look beautiful. Correct.
Yeah.
So now, excuse me, now if I debug it, so it will take from the user whichever year you want to type and it will look in a beautiful way. And this is just for example, when you work for a longer period of time and you want to get ready with orchestrator, at that time, this log messages are very, very important, you know.
Mhm.
So this is how it is looking like. 2000 is a leap year or something that can be look has to be understandable by any person or the customer or the client. So if in case I want to modify, I want to give you different options for if it is I'm typing it as 1999 or something, it should come as not a leap year. Okay. And if I'm typing it as 2008, it should come as leap year. Okay. So what if I just want to check if it is means any other options would be coming apart from leap year. We should use switch case. If more than two conditions, more than one condition is required in our program, we should definitely use a switch case. Okay, so for those things we will connect back in the next class, but for now we should be very much knowing about what an if else block does. Okay, how can we do a calculator by using this if else condition? Okay, by your own, if you can just say me the logic how a calculator can be done. Suppose we are having all these activities and you know like how input dialog box is working and how epels is working. So can you just tell me, if I am taking two numbers, how can I take two numbers? Can you just tell me like on a high level note?
You mean that getting two numbers
Getting
separately?
two numbers one after the other.
Yeah, we can have two input dialogues, no?
Yes, then
Input dialogues, I mean that the say with assign a variables for each of them.
Okay.
And then check the conditions if A is equal to C, else going to that condition, I mean that if you don't need to have any exception. For example, if the data is within the limits.
Okay.
And otherwise, if you want some limit, I mean that to say that this is, but I think, for example, if he just input two numbers instead of four numbers, the complete here, then some exception handling, then I mean that this will be the third condition, no?
Yes.
So in that case, I mean, if else if, so we can define as many as we want, no? But let's keep it simple. I mean that two conditions.
Okay.
If it's a leap year or it's not a leap year.
So if it is okay, simple if condition, but I just want to ask you, if it is a calculator, how can we do that? By taking two numbers. Suppose I want to take one number from the user, another number from the user. I want to do addition. So how can I do the addition operation? I just wanted to know from you.
First of all, we will assign the whatever we take in the input some variable.
Okay, how can we do that?
Then we will add the variable. Yeah, okay. I mean that in the input dialog, I mean that whatever we will define in the properties panel.
Okay, then
got the result. I mean the result will be saved in a variable, no? And I mean that once both these variables are saved, then we will add this variable is arithmetic operation. For example, if we take B and C, then we'll define A is equal to B plus C.
Okay.
And I mean that if the value is, I mean that for a year, I mean that, but do we need to add years input?
No, we don't need.
Divide it, no?
No, we don't need. I have just created two variable. So here we don't need, so we can delete this. So we can create only int v1 and int v2. I just created two variables. Okay. So we'll create a variable.
So we just need the add function. I mean that we will define it. The result is equal to.
May I know like what? Yes, what add function that you were talking about? How can we use that add function?
We will assign it. We will use the assign function.
Okay, got it. So directly also you can write it by using the log message, just adding it and
Okay,
showing the output.
I haven't used I haven't used log function previously. I mean, so I don't have any idea about the log
Log
function.
activities are just like an output activity. If you just want to showcase in an output pane, like I have showed you, like
Mhm.
here how it is looking like. So in that case, you are using a log message. So
Okay,
log message is just an output activity. It is nothing like.
okay, okay.
If I run
So you
this,
don't store it in any variable. I mean that you just give the output.
no, just give the output. That's it. If you want
Okay.
to store in a variable, also you can store it and do however you ways they are required. Why did I started with this is calculator? Because I want to use a switch case.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't changed the title. Okay. Okay, so output is coming as 5. So why
Hmm.
this title is coming? Because I haven't changed this label. So you have to
Yeah, it's
change.
okay. It's okay.
So this, okay,
So
you
you have to
have
change
to
the name.
modify them
Enter
while
first
you,
number, enter second number. You can
yes,
just,
yes, you have to modify according to the requirement.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
The first number and the second number.
Mhm. So for now, if I want to use a switch case, so how can we use that? Means suppose in that two numbers I want to do subtraction, I want to do multiplication, I want to do division. So how can we
Mhm.
use that switch case? Suppose for example you take an example like taking from input from a person who is standing in an ATM. How much money, suppose
Mhm.
we just take initialize amount, like the saving amount he is having 20K, 20,000 in his account. Suppose
Mhm.
the ATM has to ask like you want to withdraw or we want to add deposit.
Okay.
Okay, so
Mm.
we want to withdraw
Mm.
some 5,000 amount. So now how much remaining is there? So if we want to
Mhm.
create that kind of program, we require a switch case. Okay,
Okay.
so for now I would say you that next class we will understand it, because it will take us around 10 minutes to understand this. So we will use switch case, we will understand how the switch flow and switch cases are working, and how can
Mm.
we create different cases default value. Okay,
Mhm.
after
Mhm.
these things are understandable, then we will go to PDF automations and Excel automations, email automations.
Okay.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
just create a
Okay.
workflow, we'll extract some PDF
Okay.
value, we'll store in an Excel. Okay, or else we'll store in a
Mhm.
text file, and we want that text file
Mhm.
to be sent it to a person via email. So
Mhm.
how can we use out all those email activities are there, so how can we use them? So
Mhm.
basically, I would prefer using Outlook activities. So you can use
Mhm.
many other activities. So these activities have come because of that package that I have installed,
Mhm.
uipath.mail.activities. So this package has to
Mhm.
be installed in your system before we start this. Okay. So
Okay.
next class, I would suggest you to install UiPath in your system. Second,
Mhm.
we don't require configuration for now, but you should have your own
Mhm.
personal email ID so that it would be easier for us to
Yeah, that's fine.
automate. Yes. And
Yeah,
third,
that's fine. That's fine.
all these packages has to be installed. All these 5 packages that I have
I
said
will
you.
do it. I will install it and I will do the
Okay.
packages also.
Okay. Okay then. So
No problem.
this is like this is
So when
I
are we going to have the next class tomorrow?
tomorrow I have having a production what to say my code
So
is
we
moving to
can do it day
production
after
tomorrow.
tomorrow?
Day after tomorrow will be fine for me. Saturday it is. Okay,
Or
we'll,
just let me confirm it. I
yes,
mean that
yes,
once
yes.
it's okay, then let me confirm it. And what about the fees? I mean that because in your message I saw it, it was from rupees 50 to 500. So it was a range, no?
Yes.
Exact was not given.
Exact was not given, and Techron I haven't
Yeah.
connected them yet. I have given them a message. They have not reverted me back. So Techron I will
Okay.
connect with them. So it would be around like 50 to 500 only. So after that, I will have a confirmation with you in message only. I will give you a
Uh-huh.
confirmation when I receive
Okay.
any email or anything from Techron. If it doesn't
Okay.
happen, then we will connect on Saturday and we'll do something there. Okay.
Okay.
So fee
Okay.
structure we'll discuss on the next class only, after ending of the
Okay.
class only itself. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
And
No
I
problem.
will,
Thank you.
meanwhile, I will just wanted to give you small automation task. Like today, I just,
Yeah, you can always. I mean that if you are going to have a class day after tomorrow, then
yeah,
you can give me some assignment. Maybe,
okay.
I mean that right now the process assignment might be,
For
I mean
now,
that probably leap year, the addition of 2 numbers.
yeah,
I can do
correct.
it.
No. For now, I would suggest, yes. For now, I would suggest you to do some research in activities. Okay. I mean, you just
Okay.
to install UiPath in your system first. Second, packages
Okay.
has to be done. What I suggested.
Okay.
Third,
Okay.
you have to configure your email ID, whatever, when you install it.
Yeah,
Fourth,
that will be done. That will be done.
fourth is please go through the basics of input and output activities. What are the input activities are there in UiPath? So I would say you
I
the
I I I prefer. I mean that if you just jot down the list and send it to me, it will be easier for me to remember.
yes, sure.
And whatever other things, I mean that you, for example, if you want me to go through any activities, any
Hmm,
particular activities,
hmm,
or maybe the do case or switch
hmm,
case, or anything
yes,
like that, I mean that I
yes,
can just go
okay.
through it.
Okay, I would suggest you to go through assign activity, input dialog, switch case, if-else. Okay, for
Okay.
now it is
Okay.
required for us because when we will be using Excel automation or
Mhm.
PDF automation, we will be using a lot of switch cases and if-else. So,
Yeah, you can at least 10 activities. I can do it because
okay,
it is a gap of 1 day, so I can do
okay.
it. No problem.
So create some 2 to 3 program for me.
I
Uh,
will do it. I will do it.
and let me overview how you did it for at least 5 to 10 minutes. We can spend our time there. Then we'll go for switch cases. Then I would suggest go to PDF automation directly because we don't want to spend a much of time here. PDF automation,
Yeah.
when we start going, you should do some research. The next class will be
Okay.
on PDF automation. So you should do
Okay.
some
Fine.
research.
Fine.
You should have this package ready in your installed in your system, which I would suggest you.
Hmm. Mhm.
UiPath.pdf.
Okay.
Yes, this activity is necessary to be installed.
Okay. Fine. That's fine.
Yes. While you install this, then we will do at least 4 to 5 program in PDF. It will be an interesting for you. Means you will understand like how UiPath
Sure,
is working.
I'd love to. I mean that if we make the programs during the class, it will be perfect.
Yes, I
And
would.
besides this, you can give me the assignments also.
Yeah, I would. From next class, I will assign you many assignments. From
Yeah,
this,
I think once I go through the basic activities, I mean that will be easier for me.
yeah, correct. Once we will cover this
Okay.
PDF automation and all this Excel and all this thing, again we will come to program. Okay, you got my point. Why
Yeah.
I'm not focusing program now, because your interest area is on PDF, Excel, and email, and it has to be. Then when
Mhm.
we go to program, we will touch selected, try catch, exception handling, all this thing. So it has to be done
Mhm.
parallelly. Then we'll go for orchestrator in after 10 to 15
Okay.
days.
Okay. Okay. That's fine.
So okay.
So thank you very much. And we will
Yeah,
see on Saturday, right?
on Saturday, yes, on Saturday at 10 sharp
Okay.
10.
Just give me the message same way you did today,
Yeah,
and I will join you.
sure, Anish. I love to.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. What should I call you as a short name?
You can call me Swag. Swagash will be
Swipe.
fine. Swag,
No, would you
Swagash.
repeat? Swagash.
Swagashmini. Swagashmini is my full name. You can short it.
Swagashmini. Okay, that's fine. I can just say Swagashmini. No problem.
Yeah, that's
You
nice.
just repeat it to 4 5 times and you just remember it. Then it's not that difficult. Swagashmini,
Okay.
right?
Yes, Swagashmini. Yeah. I'm an
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm okay, yeah.
My name
Okay,
is pretty very. I mean that simple, so it will not be difficult for you.
Anish,
So thank
yes.
you very much, Swagash. I mean, I'm looking forward.